Hello, my followers. So I had solicited for a topic to create a video about, and one of the comments I got was about soul mirror purification. So if you're not familiar with soul mirror work, what that is one exercise in the system of Franz Bardon, who is a Czech hermeticist who left a legacy of books of exercises you can do for inner transformation. So, soul mirror work starts with just getting to know yourself and your traits, whether it's your virtues, your vices. What are these manifestations that come up in your life and affect how you live? And there's so many layers that we'll go into. Just for example, if you're an angry person, how does anger show up? Does it cause issues in your life? Does it keep you bottlenecked from moving forward in different ways or opportunities or building healthy relationships? So with the soul mirror work, you start with identifying all your positive and negative traits. And then you can also classify them based on the four elements. So fire, water, earth, and air. Which of these four elements does the trait signify? And also the intensity of the trait. So if you're angry all the time, or is it something that just pops up every now and then from the distance when it has a little chance to slip in? So knowing your soul mirrors is the beginning of knowing yourself. But it's also great for anytime you have an internal practice, because you then can become aware what forces are manifesting within me and through me. So in your soul, you have a framework of energy. And these different traits kind of pierce through the web of your soul, and they manifest for better or for worse. And we have the ability to then transform our soul mirrors into a state of balance, equilibrium, but then also to prevent, say, your negative traits from causing havoc and discord in your life, or from holding you back with your spiritual development. So after you have a list of your entire soul mirror, some people say, try to do 50 traits, 100. I've done 500 traits, 250 on both my negative and positive side, just because I've done this exercise over and over again for many years. And your soul mirrors will change based on the inner work you're doing about new environments and circumstances that come up in your life. So you may have positive or negative traits that you may not have caught or may not have had as much of an intensity until you were in a new environment or situation that brought that soul mirror forth. So say you choose a negative trait and you're ready to begin transforming it. You can start with a trait that causes you a lot of discord and trouble in your lives, or a very simple negative trait to transform. So the more unruly negative traits you choose, that's going to cause a kind of internal battle. So sometimes these traits are tied to larvae or spirits in the planes behind the physical plane. So as you begin to tackle your negative traits, there's energy on the other side behind the physical reality that may be like, hey, you're my vessel, you're my food for this. They may not want to let that go. It may also be something that you have fed for lifetimes and lifetimes. So it'll take a while to kind of separate from it. I've had negative traits that have taken years to work through, but the benefit is once that's done, and here's the thing, there's also so much work that can be done on a negative trait. You never know if it's going to pop up again and if you completely nicked it or not. But what you do is unburden yourself from future incarnations and your internal spirit on the other side So this negative trait no longer has any influence or hold over you. It is said when you are incarnated, you have a better chance of working on your spiritual evolution than you may in the astral planes or the mental planes that you exist in pre-incarnation, because there's a lot more resistance on this plane. We also have the earth element. So things may be a little bit more difficult to work through, but it's where you can really hone and polish things that will serve you in eternity or in continued existence. But not just that, also during your time on earth. So let's pick a trait like anger. We have many tools that we can use within our existence to begin transmuting a trait. So one is self-restraint and self-control. If you feel the anger rising, witness it, but don't let it express itself externally. So can you feel the negative trait, catch it as it's coming on, but keep it contained? So part of that is emotional control and regulation, but also using the faculties of your mind to will yourself, upon observation of the negative trait, to not let it manifest. So that doesn't transform it yet, but what you're doing is you're putting boundaries around to what extent you're going to let it manifest in the world. Next, we have something called the magic of food and drink. So what you can do is energetically charge the things you consume, the liquids and the food that you take in, to hold the energy of an opposite trait. So say your anger comes from being impatient, actually. It triggers you when other people are, taking too much time or whatever, and you feel inconvenienced. So there can also be many layers to traits. But every time someone does something that makes you angry because they're taking too long or it's not getting done or whatever the trigger is, say, I am patiently calm. And say patiently calm is the trait you need to have to deal with your anger. So when you pick one negative trait to transform, you want to kind of do some meditations and contemplate what are the triggers to make this manifest. Because often there's several traits that are weaved in together. So what you can do is for the patiently calm, say, I have a soda right here. You can use your hands and imagine loading energy into the drink of patiently calm, coming from the universe, from yourself. You can also imagine that within the entire cosmos, there is a vibration that is patiently calm. So connecting to the universal attribute of patiently calm. And whenever you load your food or drink, furthermore, keep your mind focused on that intention as you are consuming. So as you drink something that you've loaded, you are imagining patiently calm flowing through your entire body, reverberating through all of your energy, and becoming a resonant field of patiently calm. You can also imagine a color associated with patiently calm and how that patiently calm is taking up more and more space within you so that anger no longer has any location to manifest within you. You also have affirmations you can use. So say you're a hateful person. You instead say, I want to be a loving person. So one is at morning and night when your subconscious is most receptive to have mandala beads. Have any around here? Yeah. You have mandala beads that you just count one bead at a time. I'm a loving person. I am a loving person. I am a loving person. And then also throughout your day, if your hatefulness, if it is manifesting on the mental plane and you're having hateful thoughts, stop it and say, I'm going to direct it to loving thoughts, compassionate thoughts. If you're feeling hate, be aware of it and see, can you contain it right there in that moment it's manifesting and change it into love. So with soul mirror work, within each trait, they exist on a pole. And hate is on one side and love is on the other. But they are varying degrees of manifestation of the same energy at different ends through lightness and darkness. So within each negative trait is the key for its opposite trait. Did you get that? Within each trait is the opposite key, or the key to achieve the opposite trait. So say if you're lazy, you also have the ability to become productive. If you're mean, you also have the ability to be kind. Now, it's best to choose one trait at a time to tackle. That way you can really focus your energies and resources to tackling it. Depending on the intensity of the trait, it might take some time. So you got to be patient. But also remember the benefits of eradicating and transforming that trait for you long term. It is no longer going to hinder you. It's no longer going to have negative influences. It might even benefit your karma. So say if you are a violent person, and then that causes a lot of karmic repercussions from harming other people. If you transform that, then you're no longer putting those ripple effects and cause and effect out into the universe. So we have this kind of initial floor where we are identifying our traits, positive and negative. We're picking the negative ones and saying, okay, this needs to be transformed. This helps you with, your personal development. But now I want to talk about how transforming your soul and the contents of your soul also benefits you as you do higher work in the great work. So within the Franz Bardon system, we have the physical body, we have the soul, and we have the mental body or the spirit. And the soul is the medium between our spirit and our physical body. They are connected by what's called the mental matrix and the astral matrix. The astral matrix connecting your soul to your body, and the mental matrix connecting your spirit to your soul. So imagine your soul kind of like a balloon, a blown up balloon, and it has all these deposits of negative and positive energy. But you can go into this balloon and you can do work, you can move energy, you can transform energy. And then that creates a better vessel for your spirit and also your higher self. So one of the aims of the Franz Bardon system is ennoblement. And your mind, your spirit, is also connected to your higher self. So within the mental plane, there's different degrees. So you have your mind kind of existing at the day-to-day sphere of the mental plane. You can develop your mind to connect to other spheres in the mental plane. But at the echelon of the mental plane is your higher self. And through this inner transformation work, by cleaning out your soul, getting it organized, establishing some elemental equilibrium, Your spirit is then able to descend more clearly through the mental matrix into the soul, and then also with the soul connecting to the physical body through the astral matrix. Now, why might this be interesting? Within magic, there's different flares of interests and types of work that you can do. However, I'm of the opinion that each person has the ability to become like Buddha or Jesus, to varying degrees based on our current stage of spiritual evolution. But part of the Hermetic path is coming into your own Godhead, your own self-sovereignty, becoming familiar with your microcosm, and soul mirror work helps you see what is going on in my microcosm, and how can I start to have rulership over these things within that, are running off and causing havoc or discord. Getting those lined up so that you can then work towards and achieve the ultimate potential that exists in mankind, but very few of us achieve. A very small population of humanity achieves this in each generation, which is a mastery of your microcosm. So you then also have greater communication and connection with the macrocosm, including your higher self. But this also requires of you incredible patience and tenacity. And on that point, you start with the soul mirrors you have, the list you made, the things you identified, but might realize, oh, hey, I actually need this trait that I don't have yet, but it's going to help me in my spiritual work. For example, discipline. That's something I struggle with, even though I have been practicing magic and inner arts to some degree for 25 years. But some things I'm really militant on with myself, and other things I'm pretty easygoing. But like, say, discipline. Say I'm like, I need to get more disciplined on doing this no matter what, whatever that goal is. So I could say, okay, I want to enhance and cultivate the degree of my discipline. So you can start and say, what are all the moments in my life where I have been disciplined? Reflect on that. So I think it's important to see there are places and times where you've had the trait that you're wanting to cultivate. So you establish that connection. Oh, there's already degrees of discipline in your life, or whatever trait you want to say, but the quality of it needs to be enhanced, and the quantity of it. So start with putting a pinpoint on, okay, there's already a string of discipline or whatever trait, and then do different exercises, as mentioned, or your willpower to begin enhancing and increasing that trait. Say there's a trait that you want to cultivate, and you feel like, no, I do not have this in any way, sense or form has this ever manifested in my life. Say you want to be a magnanimous person, and you don't consider yourself magnanimous. You never have been. For your entire incarnation, looking through all your memories, you've never been magnanimous to others. So what you can do is look to examples of people who have been magnanimous, whether historically or present. Read about them, contemplate them, and then try to emulate that trait as well. And each negative or positive trait acts like a talisman or an amulet on the inner planes. So if I'm a hateful person, I'm going to attract hateful energies and hateful experiences, if I have hateful beliefs about things, it's going to be an echo chamber, and I'm going to have experiences that will reinforce that hateful belief. Now, when you decide to transform into a different trait, you are going to have challenges. You are going to have tests. And that goes back to talking about at the beginning of this video, when you're in the physical world, things are a little bit more difficult, but it allows you to really hone that. So say a situation comes up and you're trying to not be hateful, and you're trying to load your food and do up the affirmations and the mantras to have loving kindness. But then someone does something really wrong to you or wrong to other people. The universe is going to bring up situations that's going to test what you're trying to achieve. And that's where it's really easy for it to be a slippery slope and to fall back into the negative trait, say the hatefulness. But that is the polishing ground. When you have these tests of anything you're trying to transform, that is where you can truly download it and get it under your belt as the personal property of your soul. Say you're in this difficult situation, trying to not be hateful, you're really being challenged. There may be another nuance. Your willpower might not be that strong. So even though you really want to power through and transform that hate, when this new situation that comes up that really makes you want to be hateful, it's bringing to your attention. The back of your mind, I shouldn't be hateful, but your willpower might not be strong enough. So maybe that test came and you fell into hatefulness and you spewed hatefulness. What you do is reorient yourself and be like, okay, I acknowledge where I did wrong here, where I fell short. But in that test, I also saw, I have a weak will. I was not able to push through this challenge. So let me do some more inner work and reorient myself so that when it comes again, I am ready. You can kind of see it like being on the battlefield. There may be many battles to win a war. In that battle, my troops were defeated because we didn't have this or that. We didn't have the right arsenal of supplies. We didn't have enough sleep. People weren't properly trained. You have to be also a strategist for your inner work and forecast and see, where are the weaknesses? Where am I going wrong? Where do I have openings that is causing me to falter in this? And what is my game plan to transform it so that I can ultimately conquer the negative trait and achieve what I'm trying to do? I had written an essay published by Falcon Books Publishing that was primarily a book all about soul mirror work that I believe, even if you didn't have any magical practice, soul mirror work itself can be your entire practice in life. Now, there might be some caveats by Hermeticists that be like, you're only doing one-sided development. You may not be working on your mental body or your physical body. You might have faculties falling short. But I feel like soul mirror work is important from a metaphysical perspective when you look at the energy of who you are. So in addition to being cognizant and mindful of your self-talk, inner self-talk, and your belief systems, the soul mirror work benefits you in the short term and the long term. For one, if you untether yourself from the negative traits that are manifesting in your life, your vibration goes up. Your You're no longer beholden to certain forces. And part of spiritual evolution is working through these things, trying to evolve yourself as a spiritual being. So it's kind of like heavy rocks that you're carrying, and oh, let me take this rock out, get it out of my backpack. Now it's a little bit lighter as you're going up the mountain. But, there's always so much that can be done within your spiritual work. But that is just one point on the value of soul mirror work. You no longer have certain things hindering you, suppressing you. It'll transform your relationship with yourself, with others, and also with the greater universe at large. And as you go through any challenges or difficulties in life, contemplate, how is this serving my soul mirror work? There are situations and environments that may be giving you the opportunity to address karma and negative, harmful soul mirrors, that if you reorient how you interpret it and navigate it, you can then untether yourself and transform your negative traits. For example, I had a teacher once tell me that I had, a negative trait with me for a very long time. So this is over several centuries of lifetimes that has been attached to me. So having an opportunity to work through that and transform it then will benefit me and help me in my spiritual evolution. Kind of like that heavy rock. Maybe they're not just heavy rocks. Maybe they're chains on your wrists and your ankles and around your throat, to be dramatic, that, really are keeping you from your spiritual evolution, from your growth, from your potential. And if you have to sit for weeks, days, months, years to change that, remember, you are an eternal being having a temporary experience. And during our incarnation, we experience time. So it feels like a really long time. And it's easy for people to get stuck in the personality and to the extent they know themselves at any given moment. But when you experience your higher self and your consciousness outside of time, you're able to appreciate time is just like a container. You're living in a little snow globe called the Earth, and time is giving you the opportunity to fashion your spiritual tools and transform yourself, have experiences, and have lessons. And the work you do here, the things you transform here, and those things you truly get ownership of will then be with you and continue to be with you on the other side. So soul mirror work is a great opportunity to unburden yourself from your true potential as a child made in the image of the macrocosm, and what you can achieve, what you can experience, and what your spiritual goals are. Those are truly up to you. Each person has different ones in different lifetimes. But that's all I wanted to share today about soul mirror work. And thank you. And I hope you're all doing well. Bye.